Of course they're going to D.C. Why? That's where all the cutting has to, you can't cut D.C. funding and government waste and expenditures from Texas. I mean, I guess you could try. You can't do it from Ohio. But man, if you want to cut government down to size, you got to get right in there. If you're giving liposuction to Rosie O'Donnell, you got to get inside. That's a horrible visual. I probably, now I feel nauseous. I just made myself sick. What's up? This is Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. Man, what an exciting weekend it was. There is so much going on, and we're going to get to all of that here in just a minute. But I feel like we should start off the show today by watching President Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. pardon himself. I'm sorry, I meant the national turkey.
Raised by the family with the help of neighborhood children who helped the turkey get ready for this very moment. According to experts, Peach weighs 41 pounds and loves to eat hot dish and tater tots and cross-country skis.
Yeah. Teeter tots is what Joe Biden says. That the turkey, Peach and Blossom, are the two turkeys. Joe Biden says they love to eat teeter tots. It's nice to see Joe Biden hasn't changed much since the election.
Dreams to see, but the real dream he has is to see the Northern Lights, I'm told. He lives by the motto, keep calm and gobble on. Meanwhile, Blossom weighs 40 pounds, loves to eat cheese curds and watch boxing. Dreams to visit each one of Minnesota's 10,000 lakes. Lives by the motto, no foul play, just Minnesota nice. They just finished a 2-day road trip from Minnesota to Washington. By the way, you have chairs, sit down.
Yeah, but this is, I'm not, I am going to miss all this I'm going to be honest with you. I'm excited for the new presidency. I'm excited for Donald Trump to return to the White House. I'm excited for the grown-ups to take back over control of what's going on. I'm excited for someone with common sense who realizes that people are standing when they should be sitting. But Joe Biden halfway through this thing goes, oh, you guys are hey, everyone sit down.
I forgot you had chairs.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked he didn't tell him don't jump.
Sorry. Started thinking about the arduous trip they made. You guys are still standing. That trip's 1,100 miles. It takes 16.5 hours. Through it all, they stayed calm and they gobbled on and still gobbling. They stayed nice listening to their favorite music, which apparently includes the song Living on a Prayer. Well, fellas, your prayer's going to be answered today. Based on your temperament and commitment to being productive members of society, I hereby pardon Peach and Blossom.
I was a little shocked that as soon as that happened, the head didn't come off and it was Hunter Biden, Scooby-Doo villain style underneath. Like, I did it. I tricked you, Dad. You thought you were pardoning Peach and Blossom, but you were pardoning me instead. And then he goes off to do a couple lines. Listen, we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today. So much going on and so little time to cover it all. There was an amazing CBS poll that shows that despite what the media tells you, that President Trump's transition is going very well. And most Americans approve of his choices for his cabinet, which is now complete. Over the week, Friday night, man, it was just like boom, 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 boom. I'm just trying to relax with the kids, watch some TV, get in the Christmas spirit. And all of a sudden, it was like an influx. The final pieces of President Trump's cabinet came into play. They were all these final announcements were thrown out at us right in the Friday dump. And there's a couple of other announcements too, which had mixed reviews from a couple of MAGA conservatives. I won't lie, but we'll get to all that here in just a minute. Plus, Elon Musk has created a battle with the fake news media. And I know what you're thinking, shocker. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the next coming weeks and months before the end of the year with the legacy media, which is like MSNBC, who's on the auction block, with CNN, who's doing all these drastic cuts, with the other news agencies, with Fox News, who keeps losing hosts to President Trump's cabinet, and with Twitter, and with the new media, with the podcasts, with the live streams, with all of the stuff that we've been doing, which incidentally, I need to just take a moment and say thank you very much, because over the weekend, we also reached a goal that we set forth when we started back in July 15th, when we reemerged from our let's just say from our legal battle, and we started broadcasting again, when we started the live stream, when we started the podcast. What happened was I set a goal. I was like, all right, I got to get to, baby steps. Of course, we want millions of people watching every day. Of course, we want millions of subscribers on our YouTube channel, but we were starting with like 30. And I was like, all right, the first milestone, we got to get to 50,000 YouTube subscribers. And I'm pleased to announce that we were able to, over the weekend, not just get to 50,000 subscribers, but surpass that. Look at that. Well, that is, we're at 50,047 currently, and that's all attributed to you guys who subscribe to our YouTube channel, who watch us every single day, who set the notifications. So I appreciate everybody who watches live on whatever platform. If you're on Rumble, we're almost to 50,000 on Rumble as well, and we appreciate that too. Wherever you happen to be, if you're just listening to the podcast, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you tell everybody, hey, I like this, I want more of it. Make sure that you're delivering this content from this dude, Mark Kaye, every single day, because I'm a Katriot. I'm a liberty-loving, freedom-defending Katriot, and I need my daily dose of information and entertainment and inspiration and enlightenment from Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. And it's easy to do. Hit subscribe, hit the notifications, hit the thumbs up. And if you're on Facebook or anywhere else, share this too, because that's how we grow. That's how we were able to get to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's how we'll continue to go. Our next goal is 100,000, which I hope to get to. I mean, I'd love to get there by the end of the year. That's good. That might be tough, but we're going to see We're going to see what we can do and what we can accomplish together on our road to global domination of the new media and creation of a brand new Katriot media empire. Again, thank you to everybody who subscribed so far. Keep watching and keep sharing and keep telling everyone about it. All right, let's talk about the DOGE, shall we? Because the DOGE has a very important job. The Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, two multimillionaires, one's a billionaire, who have been tasked by President Trump to cut out $2 trillion of government waste and spending, the overinflated United States government infrastructure. You've got redundancies. You've got departments that have multiple people doing the same job. You have departments that have multiple people doing no jobs. You have people who are working from home but not actually working. You have divisions that need to be totally revamped. You have divisions that need to be cut out. We have entire agencies that we could do without, and we have a mandate from the American people. $2 trillion gone. Deflate the size of government, cut out the fat, give it liposuction, give it life, save the money, don't increase the deficit any more than is necessary, and in an effort to do so, reduce taxes, increase the size of the private sector workforce, and make America great again. Okay, sounds like a simple job. We'll put these two guys who are all about efficiency in charge of it, and they're going to start right away. Well, the interesting thing about DOGE is that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are not getting paid, that they are working on their own accord to help the president reduce the size of government. But it's not just the president that can do it. He needs help inside Congress. And we spoke, we're going to speak in just a minute to Congressman Aaron Bean, who is the founder and co-chair of the DOGE Caucus. But this thing is growing. After Representative Bean founded the DOGE Caucus, we got word that Marjorie Taylor Greene is now going to be chairperson of the DOGE committee. We found out that in the Senate it's growing. Joni Ernst has created their own caucus and committee in the Senate. So Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and President Trump started DOGE, and now the representatives, the real MAGA conservatives in government, are continuing because it's going to take everybody's help to work with. What happened there? Oh, hold on. It's going to take everybody's help to get this done. And if everybody works together to get it done, then it's going to happen. Joining me now, co-chairman of the newly formed DOGE Caucus, Representative Aaron Bean from Florida's 4th Congressional District. Representative Bean, how are you?
Hey, it's great to see you, Mark Kaye. It's good to always be with you. There is energy in your broadcast, and certainly there is a high dose of energy across our nation with a new day. It's a new day in America, for sure. Morning in America is what Ronald Reagan said, and I think that aptly describes where we are right now.
What did you just tell me about Kamala Harris?
She said she was going to put joy back in America, and boy, she did. Thank goodness. Thank you, Kamala, for putting joy back into everything. There is just, I don't know, everybody's giddy, but it also is an underlying. I know there's some questions you got. I just think that there's work. There is massive work. They have given us an early Christmas present of Congress going to work and giving us this trifecta of opportunity, the House, the Senate, the White House. And boy, we better deliver. Yeah. Boy, it's time to get out there and get it done.
I mean, here's the thing about the American people. Yeah, the mandate is there, but also in the social media world that we live in, the attention span and the patience of the American voter is very low. So you're right. Plus, it looks like we only have a couple years before everyone's running for office again. And those with the House of Representatives is such a slim margin, that midterm election is always so critical. It seems like almost the most critical to President Trump's agenda.
History will tell us. And now, listen, we can defeat history. It's very difficult to defeat history, but history will tell us that the president's party gets shellacked during the midterm. So, and it doesn't even have to be shellacked. I mean, we can lose 5 seats and the majority flips. Yeah. So you say there's years to get it done. I think there may be months. I mean, that's why the iron is smoking hot right now. There's some adage that says that's when you strike.
That's right. And so when the iron is hot.
Is that what it is?
I think, strike when the iron is hot. That's exactly right. It's something about, you know.
What if the iron is glowing nuclear what's really, really hot? I don't know how you say it is hot as it gets. Hot as whatever.
Molten? I don't know what it is. Which, speaking of which, you did something that I think, I'm going to be honest with you, is genius when I heard about it. I saw you on Fox News. In fact, I've seen you all over the place. Every time I look up, there's Congressman Aaron Bean. But you got with the Congressman Sessions in Texas, and you formed the DOGE Caucus, which is to aid with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy's new mandate to trim down the fat and the size and the expenditure of government by $2 trillion. Explain to everybody exactly what the DOGE Caucus is and how it differentiates from the Department of Government Efficiency.
Well, that's a great question, Mark. Thank you so much. We started the DOGE Caucus a week ago today.
Wow! Happy birthday!
Thank you so much. It rocketed like a Tesla off the maybe a Cybertruck right off the starting line. Yeah, there's so much momentum, and so the DOGE Caucus is delivering on government efficiency. Because Elon and Vivek are going to need backup. Mm-hmm. They're going to need. I know they're going to be focusing on things that the president can do through executive order, and there's a whole bunch to do there. But also, he needs the help of Congress. Congress has to go to work. And for anybody that knows anything about Congress, especially the House, you have to build numbers. You have to build coalitions. You have to have teams, or you're not going anywhere. You can stand alone and squawk, but if you want to get things done, then you have to have teams. And so the purpose of this caucus is to build a team, unite the House, to say there is so much to cut, so much to focus on, that we're going to unite our caucus. And yes, we will welcome Democrats. We don't have one yet, but I would welcome Democrats. And I know we're going to talk about Joni Ernst in the Senate, what they're doing, but there's enough for everybody. And so I thought it would be great to launch a caucus, get everybody on the same page. Let's make a list, just like a shopping list of what needs to be cut. Who's going to take it? Who's going to get the paper towels? Who's going to cut the Pentagon? That type of list where we can divide and conquer, hold ourselves accountable, and let's get it done while that iron is exceedingly warm.
Yeah. It's nice, cozy. We spoke with Kat Kamak last week, and I asked her about it. Here, I want to play this. I asked her about the DOGE Caucus. Okay. Here's what she said.
Yeah, I love Aaron Bean, and I think that was a brilliant, a stroke of genius. Yeah, and of course, we'll be joining the caucus. Yeah, I think the Republican conference as a whole is going to be focused on this once in a generation opportunity to really cut government.
I mean, and she brings up a great point. Isn't it just, the Republicans' jobs to do this kind of government oversight and to make sure that we're cutting things? I mean, it's interesting how President Trump wrapped it up in this nice little package called DOGE, or with Vivek and Elon. But this is something that Americans for a long time have wished that the government would do, right?
Well, we have, and we've neglected it. It's like your garden, not tending to your garden. It gets overgrown with weeds, and it's not as productive as it is anymore. We've never weeded these agencies, and what's happened is they've festered. These bureaucrats, they're unelected, and through what's called the rulemaking process, they've kind of become their own little mini Congress, where they furthered rules. But we've got a new tool in town, Mark Kaye. You know about it. It's that Chevron decision. It's where it's not the gas station. It's a company that sued and said, wait a minute, you are fining and holding our business based on laws that were never passed, that were these rules. And so that's given us opportunity where we need to do our job. Congress needs to do our job, and to claim its space back. The founding father says the check and balance is Congress, which Congress and I included are directly accountable to the people. The people have given us the authority to go do the job of a congressman. We stand before the electorate every in fact, it's already started. We're already campaigning again in 2 years. But bureaucrats don't. Bureaucrats hide in their home too. Their home, because they are not going to work right now. Everybody's working from home in the federal government, and that may be one of our first steps to go forward. So all that being said, Mark Kaye, we got work to do. We've got to unite. We've got to focus. We've got to hold each other accountable. Listen, I hate to say it. I mean, Republicans have some blame in the debt as well. And so let's hold up the mirror and say, here's who's responsible. Everybody is. So this caucus gives us a chance to unite and hopefully get closer to the end zone and put at least $1 trillion in reductions and cuts. I think we could do 2, but we'll see where it goes.
No, I know 2's the goal for sure. $1 trillion would be amazing. And of course, there's that July 4th, 2026 deadline, because President Trump wants us all done before the 250th anniversary of our great nation. Senate, as we mentioned earlier, Joni Ernst is on board. She has a similar caucus going in the Senate. Marjorie Taylor Greene is on a subcommittee or something now. So this idea of yours is really germinating. It's really growing quickly. So
correct.
Congratulations.
No, Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be chairing. There's an official DOGE committee that is part of the oversight committee that's going to study. So if we can assist her in spotlighting out of control government, we want to do it.
That's awesome.
But it's really going to come down, I believe, to the budget and appropriations committees to just cut funding to agencies that or programs that are no longer relevant, applicable, that are filled with fat. To assist and move forward. We're pretty jacked about it.
No, you two should be. Because, and what a lot of people don't realize, or some people have, I guess, been misled by the media, shocker, is that Vivek and Elon Musk, they're not hired by the government. They're not appointed. These are not actual positions. They're more consultants, and they're going to go through and make recommendations to the president and to Congress. But they can't actually fire anybody or cut anything or delete any agencies, and that's why this caucus and the Senate caucus and they're having the ear of the president is so important. Because
that's exactly right. I call it a work group. I mean, they're volunteers. They're volunteers. They're going to make recommendations.
Right. They're not getting paid either.
President's going to take it. President's going to take it, but I got some news. I don't know if I'm able to. So I talked to, of course, Joni Ernst, Senator Ernst out of Iowa, who is also launching a similar caucus on the Senate side. We talked this weekend about collaborating, and we're going to have joint meetings to get everybody, again, we want to rally the troops, get everybody fired up.
Yeah.
We talked about our first meeting next month in December and inviting either Vivek or Elon to come address the caucus, get everybody fired up. I texted with the speaker over the weekend. He goes, hey, I'm going to be with Elon. Anything you want me to say to him? Mr. Speaker, invite him to a caucus meeting.
Yeah.
And he goes, when's your caucus meeting? And I said, It's whenever Elon comes to the Capitol. That will be our meeting. And so
let's work around his schedule for sure.
that's exactly like we will stop everything.
Yeah.
Elon comes to town. You know, it's funny during our we had a little our conference. That's when all the Republican members of Congress, or at least of the House, had a little session where right after the election, we were going to come together. We were going to elect class officers from recording secretary all the way up to speaker. And so we're having these elections. Everybody gives a talk, and then we vote secretly. But we had we had a guest, and that was Donald Trump. Donald Trump comes in. We're in the basement of the Hyatt Hotel in D.C., and it was exciting. And of course, Trump comes in. He's got just surrounded by bodyguards, which are great. And one of the guys that walked in with him peels off and sits on the front row. And I really didn't notice it at first. I was kind of in the middle of the pack, but Trump then starts talking and then introduced his guest on the front row. It was Elon. It was Elon. I think Elon almost got as big as a round of ovation. Maybe not quite, but pretty close to everybody cheering Elon. So Elon was with him, and President Trump then talked about the cuts and then he talked about this crazy rocket that comes down and gets hugged by the launch craft.
Yeah, with the big chopsticks. They love that. Well, listen, speaking of going back to work, now you're here in Florida through Thanksgiving, and then it's back to, December is a work month, and everyone's eye is on December the 20th, because that is when the continuing resolution is, I guess, going to be resolved or extended. I mean, what is the plan right now, or what is the consensus in Congress about what's going to happen December 20th? Does the government get shut down again? Do we kick the can down the road again? What do you think?
Well, prediction right out of the gate, the can gets kicked. Yeah. But it's a new place to kick the can, and that is President Trump. And, I think it was just announced some of his advisors are serious fiscal hawks, meaning they're anti-debt. So they have laid hints. Let us take it over in January. So government runs out of money December 20th. There will be some type of continuing resolution put forth to Congress to say, hey, let's just push this deadline off into the new year,
so that Donald Trump can take full control.
President and his team can start attacking, give Elon a chance to go forward. So I know you and I have talked about a little bit. It just depends. Some of these CRs, which I've been voting against, some of them get yucky. They put a lot of stuff in it, knowing that the pressure to pass it.
Right.
So I don't know what that looks like. I know that we're going to have to do something to give the new president a chance. We also have a debt limit that expires January 1.
Right.
So that also is going to have to be. But you know what? We need to. I'm hoping, and I'll try my influence to get something. We can do reductions with a CR. We could do something to cut something back, give somebody, the conservatives a win to, okay, I'm voting for the CR, and it includes a reduction. I know they're going to put, or at least they're just, we don't know what the CR looks like. This date right now, we have no idea. But I know they've talked about putting, hurricane relief and more FEMA money. But I love that. If there's offsets, it's a time to cut other things. I'm going to punt it back to you, Mark. But the Cuts Act, it's a bill that I sponsored. We've got 93 co-sponsors, and we're still looking. Earlier this year, we did the supplemental. You don't hear that word anywhere else except in Congress. It's a way of saying we'll give you some extra money. The supplemental to foreign nations, Israel, Ukraine, which again I did not support sending the money to Ukraine. There needs to at least be offset. We gave the money to Ukraine and we cut nothing. We just put it on the country's credit card. So that Cuts Act.
That's exactly right.
Went and found money that we were given to. We still got COVID money out there. There's still money that gave agencies under COVID. Let's take that money back and let's least pay down the deficit with it. Well, so we'll see, Mark Kaye.
No, and I know that you've always been a big proponent about that. And it is interesting because, yes, you and I are both anti-continuing resolution. We're both anti, kicking the can down the road. But at this point, we've got this fight in December, or yes, we wait a couple months till Donald Trump and his team can come in there and do everything that they've outlined it does. The only thing is the earmarks, like you said, and the other stuff people are going to jam through. Well, good luck fighting for your cuts. Real quick, because I know you got work to do. A couple things I want to on the home front. President Trump over the weekend came out and endorsed, which was interesting because this guy, as far as I know, isn't even running yet for the open seat that Mike Waltz is going to evacuate when he goes to be the national security advisor. But Randy Fine from the Florida Senate. Did you work with him when you were in the Florida Senate as well? Because he's been endorsed by President Trump now for that District 6 seat.
Yeah, no, I do know Senator Fine now. Senator Fine is a state senator. When I was in the state Senate, he was a House member. Okay. He was known to be a fighter. And so I know he supported Donald Trump during the election as well. He would be great. He would, we just need fighters. Mark Kaye, you know the type we're looking for, people that will say no to the continued business as usual. That's what we want. And I think Randy Fine would fit that bill. But here's just a memo to Randy Fine. You can't win unless you get in. Yeah. But I don't know if anybody's in. Have they set the parameters?
I know that, it's interesting for Matt Gaetz' seat, there's like 6 people who have already filed. For the District 6 seat, I'm not aware of anyone who's officially filed. And it's interesting because President Trump seems to be pushing Randy Fine because he wrote on Truth Social, should he decide to enter this race, Randy Fine has my complete and total endorsement. Run, Randy, run. So no decision has even been made yet on the candidate's part, but he's got the backing of the president.
I think that's a pretty clear endorsement. I think run, Randy, run. I think, does it get any clearer than that?
Yeah.
I've seen, Marky, maybe DeSantis as he set the parameters of the race. And I think that's...
Cord Bird is working on that. We were supposed to chat with Cord Bird sometime this week, with Thanksgiving coming up, but that's something we're going to talk about because it is important that we have strong fighters. I mean, we're losing 2 strong fighters in the Republican caucus. We need to have them replaced with other equally strong MAGA conservatives. And then, of course, there's the Senate seat. A lot of buzz around Laura Trump. Do you have a favorite for Governor DeSantis to replace Marco Rubio with, or?
I don't. We're loaded. We've got a heavy bench that's loaded with talent. It's hard to take another member from the from Congress because we're losing 3 on January 3rd is when we get sworn in, and we'll be down 3. And it looks like it's going to be. There's still 4 races uncalled, 5. I forget how many. It's I'm yawning when we wait on California to finish their results. But 221 to 222 to 214,
14 or something.
But it'll just be razor thin, so it's hard to. If he's going to take them, he's got to stagger them.
Yeah, and I know that because they've been worried about Byron Donalds and other, but you're right. I don't think anyone's interested in another, hard-nosed conservative congressperson leaving Congress, especially like you said with that razor thin majority. Listen, Congressman Bean, we are so excited for the DOGE caucus. Let me know if Elon accepts your invitation and when he's going to come. I may hang around outside and try to snag some photos of him as he's walking in the door.
Okay. No, Mark, I want to salute you. I'm sure your viewers and listeners know you spent a morning with me.
Oh, so much fun.
In D.C. We had a great time, and I still remember we were late. You remember we were late for a committee, and it's okay because I'm late everywhere. There's all the committees start at once. They're all running, so you got to run. But they were waiting on us for votes, and so I just remember the look on your face. We were running down this the Rayburn office building, and it looked like a ghost town. And you were with me, and then we opened the door. Boom, and it was a packed committee room, and they were waiting on me to vote, and so we tiptoed in, and boom.
There was one empty seat, and it said Mr. Bean, and I was like, of course.
Where the heck are you, Bean? I know. So that was but I love watching your face because it's so big, the cameras are on, and it was just an exciting time, and
it was great.
Hopefully you'll do that again. It's going to be a big a big January.
Well, you wait a minute. I'm still on your list, right? Because I wrote you immediately. I need those.
You are on my list. And listen, we're going into Thanksgiving week, and Mark Kaye, we've got so much to be thankful. I'm still thanking the voters for it. It's a big deal. And you would have thought, Bean's going to get reelected. Piece of cake. We never take anything for granted.
You never can.
For everybody that supported me, it's a big deal. Thank you. I'm grateful. I'm still working on not disappointed. I always say I want to be a congressman that everybody can be proud of, but there's still serious work to do. But listen, there's a new bean sprout in town, Mark Kaye. A new bean sprout. I know you're going to think this is crazy because I'm not old enough to be a grandfather.
Wait,
but I
what?
am.
Come on, what?
So our oldest son and Lex gave birth to Matilda Bean.
Wow! Congratulations.
How about that? So we're jacked up, and
that is awesome. Well, listen, congratulations.
We keep thinking of excuses to go over there. What's our excuse? We'll bring them food or dessert or something to go crash the party and just hang out with the kid.
Grandpa Bean, no, and we follow your voting record very closely, and you do make us proud. So we're thankful for you as well.
Thank you, Mark Kaye. Right. Happy Thanksgiving.
Man, I'll tell you what, if there was ever an everyman in Congress, it's Aaron Bean. He's my daughter. And again, he's exactly the way he comes across. If you see him in person, yes, we were late for a vote. I don't vote, so I don't think we is the appropriate terminology. We were not late for the vote. He was late for the vote, but it was hilarious. He's giving me a tour of the Rayburn building, and we're walking down, and he's talking to people, and he's stopping, and his chief of staff is there going, Congressman, they're holding it for us. We got to go. And of course, yes, we walk in. There's about 75 Congress people on this committee. They're all seated. They're all waiting patiently. And there was one empty seat. And Congressman Bean sat down, voted. We popped right back up. It was really insane to see. But my daughter, I think she said, he reminds me a lot of Ted Lasso, which I'm going to be honest with you, I think is the perfect description. He is like the Ted Lasso of Congress. Always positive, always smiley, always looking for the good in everybody, always has a platitude for you. I wouldn't be shocked if next time I went to his office, he had the word believe taped above it in like a handwritten sign, because he is the Ted Lasso of Congress. But we're very excited for the work he's doing with the DOGE Caucus. Genius, by the way, to start the DOGE Caucus and get all these Congress people signed on, then to have it spread out to Senate, because that's how it works. Again, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are not government officials. They're not elected officials. They're not even appointed to anything. They have no power. They have no power to fire you. If you're one of these bureaucrats or one of these redundant employees and you're sitting around going, "Oh, I hate Elon, he's going to fire me." He's not. He's going to tell President Trump to fire you. Or he's going to tell whoever, if you're one of those excess State Department people, or if you're one of those 87,000 IRS agents that maybe we don't need, he'll tell your boss to fire you. But he's not. They don't have the, like I said, they don't have any authority over hiring and firing. They're just going to suggest things, and then President Trump and/or Congress, because again, a lot of these agencies are going to require congressional and Senate approval for dissolution. You can't just take a department like, education and write an executive order getting rid of it. It needs to be dissolved. And President Trump has Congress. He has the Senate. He has a mandate from the American people. But it is going to take some inside help. So we're glad that we've got people like Congressman Bean, like Kat Kamek. Joni Ernst, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see with her. She's not as MAGA conservative as I would like Iowa, but that's neither here nor there. Listen, we have some great news, by the way. Speaking of President Trump's cabinet and his transition and what he's been doing in the past 2 weeks, there was a CBS poll, which is just fantastic. And I'm going to get to that here in just a minute. But first, I wanted to remind you about our good friend, Paul Stone, at Colonial Metals Group. You may remember we spoke with him about a week ago. Paul Stone at Colonial Metals Group he's created an amazing company that uses and harnesses the power of precious gold and silver and platinum and all these metals, which is a much more solid, no pun intended, investment, and a much more secure investment than some of these stocks and Bitcoins and everything else that fluctuates up and down, up and down. And what he's done is he's created savings plans, including IRAs, that are proven wealth preservation strategies. They're tax-free. There are tax loopholes and codes that are written into the tax code that help you save money when you invest in these kinds of products like gold and silver. Why billionaires are turning to gold in times of crisis? Well, it's pretty straightforward. There's a limited quantity of gold, and that's why it becomes more and more valuable every time the dollar fluctuates or the stock market goes up and down. He's put together a free gold guide where you'll learn how to protect and grow your retirement savings with a gold IRA, why precious metals offer a strong defense against de-dollarization and inflation, how safe and efficient retirement plan optimizes your assets and savings, tax-free penalty, all these things we just talked about. And you can see there's so many people that just are big fans of Colonial Metals Group, and there's a lot of places you can invest gold, and this is the official gold sponsor of Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. So if you would like your free gold guide, go to freegoldguide.com/K. Kaye, freegoldguide.com/Kaye. And as usual, I put a link to that in the description of the video on YouTube and Rumble. So if you're on YouTube, if you're on Rumble, you can click on that link. You can get your free gold guide, download it today, and learn all about our buddy Paul Stone and what he has in store for you when it comes to investing and your retirement savings in something a little more strategic, like precious metals. All right, let's talk a little bit about this CBS poll, because this is really interesting to me. There was a CBS poll that came out this weekend. CBS News poll finds Trump starts on positive note as most approve of his transition handling. This is really exciting because it's been a couple weeks, and the media, I mean, you know the thing. The media tries to make everything volatile, more volatile than it is. They try to make you think that Donald Trump's picks are these really crazy, out of the blue. Oh my gosh, who did he pull out of his backside for what position? Donald Trump's he's on a course of destruction. All he's looking for is these people that are loyal to him and will do his bidding and have no experience. But they're all lunatics. We can't put him in control of the government. But again, Donald Trump is an outlier. He's from outside the government. He's trying to dismantle the deep state. And if you're trying to dismantle the deep state, the last thing you want to do is go into the deep state and say, hey, any volunteers? No, you have to find people who are up to the task, knowledgeable, on board with your vision, on board with your agenda, willing to execute your orders, and can also pass muster with the Senate. And so CBS News did this poll, and they said, hey, folks, people, Americans, voters, what do you think of President Trump's handling of his transition so far? And I want to share this with you because I thought this was phenomenal. Look at this. 59% of voters approve of President Trump's transition. It's only been 3 weeks, and you've got a large majority of the country. That's almost 60% of the people that approve of the way Donald Trump has handled the transition. And when you keep in mind that there are a lot of Democrats who voted for President Trump, you'll see that, because we have a 50-50 split in this country. If not, I think there's more Democrats than there are Republicans in a lot of these states. But this CBS poll proves that not just Republicans, the majority of them, but a large portion of the Democrat population also approve of President Trump's handling. So the media is wrong. The left is wrong. These senators who are screaming and yelling about Donald Trump's crazy picks for attorney general. Oh my God, Matt Gaetz, blah, we got to chase him out of here as quickly as we can. Pete Hegseth with the tattoos. No, that guy's horrible. He's a white supremacist. What's he going to do? All of these people are just blowing smoke and trying to push their narrative. The American people believe President Trump is doing really well. They say, what do you feel about what President Trump will do as president? By party, excited. 54% of Republicans are excited. 4% of Democrats. That's pretty. I mean, that's pretty. We're not surprised. 41% are optimistic. 11% of Democrats are optimistic. 4% of Republicans are concerned. 35% of Democrats. So that's pretty clear. But look, 54% of Republicans are excited. 41% are optimistic, which means only 5%, 95% of Republican voters have a positive outlook on how President Trump is going to do based on his transition picks and the picks for people that he's placed in his presidential cabinet. How do you feel about Trump winning? 31% are happy. 24% are satisfied. Again, that's 55%. 23% are dissatisfied. And 21% are just flat out angry. Those are my favorite. I'm excited for those 21%. Election of Trump makes you motivated to support him. 78% of Republicans, 10% of Democrats. Motivated to oppose him, yada, yada, yada. But this is where I really want to, this is where I really want to get into it. Because, look, Trump will make food and grocery prices go down. Okay. Rating the economy, blah, blah, blah. But here's what I want to look at. These are the individual picks because CBS said, look, let's take the picks one by one. And we want to find out what people think about, for example, the selection of Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. Was he a good choice? Was he not a good choice? Haven't heard enough about him. These are Trump voters. And 75% of Trump voters say the selection of Marco Rubio for Secretary of State was a good choice. Only 5% say not a good choice, and 19% is like, I don't really know who Marco Rubio is. Marco Rubio needs a little bit more press. He needs a better PR team because 19% of Trump voters don't know who Marco Rubio is, which is weird because I feel like every time I turned on a Trump rally, Marco Rubio was right there screaming and yelling at me about how great Donald Trump was going to be, and he was right. But look, a mostly positive pick from President Trump regarding Marco Rubio. Selection of RFK Jr. for Health and Human Services. Check this out, 80%. 80% of Trump voters say that is a good choice. And if you'll notice, 80% is more than the 75% they gave to Marco Rubio. So it seems to me like a lot of these Trump voters that they put into this study or that they put into this poll may not have been Trump voters if it weren't for someone like RFK Jr. In fact, RFK Jr. scored the highest of all Trump's cabinet picks thus far, meaning the selection of RFK Jr., the partnering, the alliance with RFK Jr. during the campaign was clearly strategic and beneficial because President Trump not only won the election, but the majority of people that voted for him think this was a great pick on his part. We love that he put RFK Jr. in the cabinet. Bravo. So he's basically, he told people on the campaign trail, look, if you supported RFK Jr., support me because we're going to work together. And then he's already delivering on that promise by giving him that cabinet position, and people are thrilled about it. Selection of Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. 64% say that's a good choice. 5% say not a good choice, and 31% say they haven't heard enough about him. So again, it's not that he's not as popular as RFK Jr. or I'm sorry, it's not that he's not as good a choice as RFK Jr. or Marco Rubio. It's just that people aren't familiar with Pete Hegseth. And that is true because up until recently, unless you watch Fox and Friends Weekend Edition, you may not have known who he was. And now the media is coming out and trying to attack him and belittle him and berate him and make him seem like an evil monster when really the opposite is true. He's a lifelong patriot who could work very hard to make sure that the Defense Department, the military, every single branch of the military becomes great again. That he can get the woke crap out of there, the DE&I gone, and he can make our military what it was supposed to be. The most lethal and highly trained and technologically advanced fighting force that can go out, fight, win wars with as little casualty as possible on either side. As few casualties as possible on either side. And 64% of voters think, yeah, Pete Hegseth was a pretty good choice. Selection of Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence. This is another one that is being questioned by the left that a lot of people are not on board with. Some of the Rhino Republicans are also attacking her. But Tulsi Gabbard came aboard as part of the Trump team. She aided President Trump in his preparation for debate against Kamala Harris, seeing as how she walloped Kamala Harris in the debate back when she ran for president. And she changed her party affiliation to Republican. And so President Trump said she's going to be my Director of National Intelligence. She's a veteran as well. She's familiar with the military. She knows what's up. 71% of Trump voters say good choice. 24% just haven't heard enough about Tulsi Gabbard. By the way, this is why this show's so important. This is why we keep telling you to like, share, subscribe, because 24% of people out there just don't know enough about Tulsi Gabbard. So we got to educate those folks. And then look, this is my favorite slide of this whole thing. What's important for Trump to appoint people? What's important about Trump's appointees? Is it important for Trump to appoint people who, A, will speak their minds, B, have experience in the field agency they'd run, C, have experience in Washington, or D, are loyal to Trump? And look at this, 94% said will speak their minds. 94% said it's important that these people will speak their minds, meaning, yeah, they want someone who's loyal to Trump. Yeah, they want someone who has experience. They definitely do not want people who have experience in Washington because that just screams of deep state. But they want people who are going to speak their minds. 94% of Republicans, 89% of all total voters. And that is exactly what these people are going to do. Tulsi Gabbard is going to speak her mind. That's all she's ever done. That's why she's no longer a Democrat. They basically threw her out of the party. RFK Jr. is going to speak his mind. He always has. That's basically why he's no longer a Democrat, and his family has basically ostracized him because he speaks his mind and they threw him out of the party. And that is, the same with Pete Hegseth, the same with Marco Rubio. It is truly amazing, and it's truly great how positive people have seen the early transition, Trump's early transition team, because it is so important that President Trump have the transition team that he wants, and that they get confirmed quickly, and that the American people are on board with it. Because once again, President Trump has a mandate. President Trump has a mandate from the American people, and he is using his cabinet selections to make sure that his mandate is put forward. Here's what we got. The cabinet's full, by the way. The cabinet's full. He did it all. We got J.D. Vance. He was the first, just by way of being vice president. Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, who came in when Matt Gaetz pulled his name out of contention, Doug Burgum, we knew about her, Howard Lutnick, we talked about last week, RFK, Sean P. Duffy, not Sean P. Diddy, Sean P. Duffy, don't get them confused, Linda McMahon, Doug Collins, Kristi Noem. Well, over the weekend, Friday night, really, we got a flurry, like I said, of other ones. We found out that Chris Wright is going to be energy. Chris Wright we found out about last week. We found out that Scott Turner is going to be the Housing and Urban Development Secretary, Housing and Urban Development. And this is a guy, in the last Trump administration, Housing and Urban Development was run by Ben Carson. And Ben Carson worked really closely with Scott Turner. Scott Turner was I forget the exact position. Wait, I think I have it here. Yeah, here it is. I am pleased to nominate Scott Turner from the great state of Texas as the Secretary of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Scott is an NFL veteran who during my first term served as the first executive director of the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council, helping to lead an unprecedented effort that transformed our country's most distressed communities. Those efforts, working together with former HUD Secretary Ben Carson, were maximized by Scott's guidance in overseeing 16 federal agencies. So he worked with Ben Carson as Housing and Urban Development. He worked with Ben Carson and all these different agencies in putting forth these principles. So now President Trump needs a new HUD secretary, and Ben Carson's like, look, I'm old. I've done this. I have been there, done that. I don't want to be Surgeon General. I don't want to be in the cabinet, but thank you for your offer. So he goes and he gets the next best thing, which is Scott Turner, who was groomed by Ben Carson for this very job. So that's fantastic. A couple of other picks that came in over the weekend: Lori Chavez de Remer for labor, Brooke Rollins for agriculture, who's from Texas. Brooke Rollins from Texas she came in, gosh, I want to say it was sometime Friday afternoon. I think all of these came in like Friday, starting at like 3:00. It was just boom, 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 rapid fire. And Brooke Rollins is now, and this is interesting because a lot of folks thought it was going to be Kelly Loeffler. I heard a lot of folks incorrectly reporting that Kelly Loeffler was going to be Agriculture Secretary. In fact, there was a radio host who was reporting that Kelly Loeffler from Georgia was going to be, not only was she going to be Agriculture Secretary, but she was so great. He was a huge fan. Well, turns out that's all fake news. And that's why I always say you need to watch out who you listen to. We created our 47 daily podcast for the express purpose of avoiding fake news and rumors. Because here's what happens. You get a lot of these talk show hosts on the radio. You get a lot of these people on TV. You get a lot of these other folks who have podcasts, whatever. They're just looking for something to talk about, man. They're trying to do 24 hours a day of news or 3 hours on the radio. They don't even know. So they just start making stuff up. They just start throwing stuff out there. Like, oh, guess what? Kelly Loeffler is going to be Agriculture Secretary. She's not. That's why we created the 47 Daily. And the 47 Daily podcast is every single morning. It's your daily dose of real news. It's your daily dose of real information. It's direct from President Trump's transition team, from President Trump himself, from the press secretary, from the communications department, from them to my mouth to your ears for the next 4 years. We're going to cover the entire transition. We're going to cover the first 100 days. We're going to cover the entire next 4 years of President Trump's second administration. The 47 Daily Podcast. If you have not yet subscribed, I would urge you to go to, wait, I have the link right here. There it is, the47daily.com. It'll take you right to this page, the47daily.com. And again, you can bypass all of the schmooks out there who are trying to make you think they know what's happening when really they don't. They're just making it up as they go along. But anyway, all right, so back to the cabinet. So we've got Brooke Rollins from Texas, and President Trump said about her, it's my great honor to nominate Brooke L. Rollins from the great state of Texas to serve as the 33rd United States Secretary of Agriculture. Brooke was on my 2016 Economic Advisory Council, did an incredible job during my first term as the director of the Domestic Policy Council, director of the Office of American Innovation, so many things that she did, yada, yada, yada. As our next Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke will spearhead the effort to protect American farmers who are truly the backbone of our country. Congratulations, Brooke. And then probably one of the biggest picks, one of the things that we were really, really excited about, and we wanted to find out who was going to win because it was a knife fight up till the end there. There was a lot of question. Was Howard Lutnick going to be Treasury Secretary? Nope, he became Commerce Secretary. Was it going to be Mark Rowan from Apollo? Nope, he turned out not to make the cut. It's Scott Bessent, and he is your new Treasury Secretary. And yes, a lot of people say he's openly gay. The first openly gay Treasury Secretary. Not the first openly gay secretary. Pete Buttigieg holds that prominent distinction. But he's also, a lot of people have said he worked with Soros. Not technically true. He was an investor and George Soros gave him money to invest. And well, I mean, when you're an investor and you work on Wall Street and somebody gives you billions of dollars, you take it. You're not, your political allegiance does not lie with them. You just are trying to make a buck. And as a hedge fund manager, as an investor on Wall Street, he's a pretty solid guy. A lot of people really like him. The markets appreciate this pick. And he's got this balance of loyal to Trump and supportive of Trump, pro-tariff, but also kind of a Wall Street insider that will, I guess, calm the fears of the Wall Street elite. Elon Musk was not a huge fan. Elon Musk wanted Howard Lutnick and made that publicly clear. He wanted an outsider. But, at the end of the day, it's President Trump's pick. A lot of people not shocked by the pick of Scott Bessent. President Trump said, I'm most pleased to nominate Scott Bessent to serve as the 79th Secretary of the Treasury of the United States. Scott is widely respected as one of the world's foremost international investors and geopolitical and economic strategists. Scott has long been a strong advocate of the America First agenda. On the eve of our great country's 250th anniversary, he will help me usher in a new golden age for the United States as we fortify our position as the world's leading economy. Yada, 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 more. Scott will support my policies that will drive U.S. competitiveness and stop unfair trade imbalances, work to create an economy that places growth at the forefront, especially through our coming world energy dominance. Together, we will make America rich again, prosperous again, affordable again, and most importantly, great again. So President Trump believes that Scott Bessent has the knowledge, the know-how, the ideas, the contacts, and the charisma to get the job done, to say, hey, look, we need to bring down inflation. We need to spur American commercial growth. We need to revisit these trade agreements. We need to make sure that tariffs are in place so that we're not getting taken advantage of. And we need to cut taxes, and we need to make sure that everything is running accordingly so that we have the strongest economy ever. And that's who got the job. So, and that's also, look, again, that's also going to be an easy confirm. You have to look at now, with what happened with Matt Gaetz. As we look at it now today, it seems like the majority of these in line of succession candidate posts, which are which require Senate confirmation, you're going to look at them and say, Marco Rubio, Scott Bessent, Pete Hegseth may be the toughest one, but it seems like he's got a majority of support from the Senate. Pam Bondi is going to be a cakewalk because she's ultimately qualified. And it doesn't look like there's anyone else here, I don't think, that would give anyone any trouble, unless, of course, they try to bring back the Kristi Noem shot a dog scenario and say that doesn't That disqualifies you for Homeland Security, which I don't think they will. I've heard some rumors popping up about Linda McMahon, but I don't think that that's going to be a problem either. And it looks like this cabinet, I would hazard to say, could be the cabinet that we end up with. There's a couple of other cabinet level roles which we haven't yet seen. And of course, everyone's still waiting on FBI director. That's one that, man, people are waiting. They just can't wait to see they can't wait to see if it's Kash Patel or somebody else or whatnot. But I did want to say something about the media. You have to be very careful with the media, because the media, they're horrible people. They're horrible people, and they know that they've lost not just the election, because think about this. If you're a media insider and you're on the phone with Jen Psaki, like that Humpty Dumpty guy, what was his name? Brian Stelter. Brian Stelter used to get on the phone with Jen Psaki every day and say, Jen, I'm about to go on the air. What do you want me to tell people? Anything you want, Jen. And then he would do an interview with her and say, how can we help you, Jen? How can we make your life easier, Jen? What can we, the media, do better, Jen? Please tell us. And then they're on the phone with Twitter. And they're saying, okay, here's a list of accounts you need to delete. Here's somebody you need to block. These are tweets that we want taken off of the platform. And if you don't do it, then we're going to drop the hammer on you. And Twitter and Facebook and all these other companies were like, oh my God, we got to play ball with these people. So they would. And now all of a sudden, the media, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, they've lost. They no longer have an in to the administration. In fact, we saw that with Joe and Mika from Morning Joe tucking their tails between their legs and hightailing it down to Mar-a-Lago to lick Donald Trump's boots so that they wanted to lick his golf shoes so that they could get back in his good graces and maybe save their jobs. They're not gonna. MSNBC is on the chopping block. Elon Musk is going to buy it, potentially. We did a great video over the weekend that went super viral about that. So if you haven't yet watched it, I would definitely head over to our YouTube channel or our Rumble channel and take a look at it, because it was quite entertaining. But they know that they're done for, that their entire world has changed and they just can't hack it. And they realize that people like me are the new media. People like Elon Musk have created these platforms. All of Rumble, YouTube, X, all of them. They've been taken over by citizen journalists who know that the media has been spreading lies. They know that the media has been propagandizing. They know that the media can't be trusted. They know that the media is in cahoots with the left. And now that Donald Trump is going back to office and the media narrative has been shattered and the power lies with the Joe Rogans of the world and the Aiden Rosses of the world and the Mark Kays of the world and everybody else of the world who's on social media, now that they realize that and they see that they no longer hold the keys to the palace, they are freaking out. And there's this one guy, his name is, I forget his name, is I guess he's the CEO of Axios. And he was being praised I don't know, he was at some ceremony and he started yelling and screaming about Elon Musk and how, because Elon Musk has been on X every day saying, you're the media now. Elon Musk is telling everybody, if you have an X account, if you have a YouTube account, if you have TikTok, if you've got any of these, which by the way, I have all of them. If you're on any of these platforms, you're the media now, because that's how information is spread. People are getting their info from social media. So the people that are creating on social media are the media, and the legacy media does not like it. Listen to this guy from Axios flip out on Elon Musk.
Everything we do is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day, or X today, saying like, we are the media, you are the media. My message to Elon Musk is bullshit. You're not the media. You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle, and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter. You don't do that by popping off on Twitter. You don't do that by having an opinion. You do it by doing the hard work.
Oh, look at that. You don't become, if you go on X and report something, that doesn't make you a reporter. You don't do it by having an opinion. You can't have an opinion, really? Here's a media guy. Here's the CEO of Axios. Here's one of these elitist, snobbish, just egomaniacal. This is exactly the problem with the media, and this is why the media has imploded in on itself. The media thought they were smarter than the rest of us. They thought that they were more intelligent than the rest of us. They thought that they were better than the rest of us. They thought that they were more important than the rest of us, and they thought that gave them the right to tell the rest of us what to believe, what to think, what to say. They believed they had power over the people because they were the media, and they crowned themselves the unofficial fourth branch of government, which is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. The media is the unofficial fourth branch of government. You know who told them that? The media. They basically said, we are not elected by anybody, but we are just as important because we're the government watchdog. The only problem is they ceased being the government watchdog and they became the government lapdog. And they started to hump the leg of the Democrat Party. And if you know anything about a watchdog, the watchdog does not hump the leg of somebody that they are wary of. They're very comfortable with that person. And so a new watchdog had to be found. And Elon Musk found it on X. And a bunch of other people found it on Rumble. And a bunch of other people found it by starting podcasts. And all of a sudden, the media became the lapdog of the Democrat Party. And the Joe Rogans and the Aiden Rosses and the Mark Kays and everybody else that you follow and watch diligently, the Dan Bonginos, the cat turds. Cat turd, ironically, is a watchdog of the government. But you know, the media, but MSNBC no longer is. NBC no longer is. They've become the mouthpiece of the government. And that's why everyone else has risen up. And this guy can't hack it. This Jim Vandehake just can't even hack it. Well, he was on with Morning Joe. And after he gave that speech, listen to how Morning Joe reacted to Jim Vandehake's speech. This is one of the most pathetic displays of anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, come on, slow clap, everybody. Whoa. First of all, I've got to say, extraordinary content. It needed to be said.
Yeah.
It continues to need to be said. When all of the garbage is flying around on social media, lying about reporters, lying about the hard work they do, lying about the hard work editors do, lying about everything up and down about not only their alternative set of facts, but alternative set of facts about what people like you do. Or if social media, people lying every day, every hour, every minute about the news. What you do matters. What the New York Times does matters. What the Wall Street Journal does matters. What Jonathan Lemire does matters. What the Financial Times does matters. What NBC News and MSNBC reporters do matters. It matters.
Okay, it does not actually matter anymore because because MSNBC is on the chopping block. MSNBC is going to be auctioned off, and most of those people are going to be out of a job. And I wouldn't be shocked if at least half of them ended up on X or on Rumble or on YouTube or on some other network, because look, TV, there's very few places on television anymore where somebody can go. If you get fired from MSNBC, you've got a handful of other networks, but they're all in the same boat. CNN's not hiring, CNN is firing. And that is all, again, thanks to yourself, thanks to your idea that you are better than everyone else, because you pretended to be better than the American public, because you pretended to be better than the people, the consumers that take in your product, because you pretended to be these glorious godlike figures who reign over the rest of us. You've now been cut down to size. And you can slow clap all you want, which is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And you can say that we don't have the right to an opinion simply because we don't work for an established legacy media outlet. I'm here to tell you the opposite is true. Everybody has the right to an opinion. Everybody has the right to say what they want. Everybody is the media. Because if you look at the Constitution of the United States of America, which I happen to have right here, not the original, I have a copy. And I've studied this. I study this at length. You can see right here in the Bill of Rights. Okay. Here we go. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. It does not dictate or outline or make any clarification or set of regulations as to what constitutes the press. It simply says the press. So the press could be you, me, a cell phone, an X account, 300 characters or words, and an opinion. And the fact that this Jim Vandehey claims that he's the press and we're not because he's CEO of Axios should make you despise and distrust them even more, because they are furious that they've been found out to be just regular people. Only they're not regular people. They're regular people who are on the take for the Democrat Party. Even, I believe, worse than that. You know, Morning Joe's going off talking about how there's all these lies. They're spreading lies about the media. They're spreading lies about reporters. Thank God you said that, Jim, because all of the mistruth and lies have been spread by these citizen journalists, so-called, on X. Well, fun fact, the CEO of NPR, Catherine Maher, I don't even know, she was giving a speech, and she said that truth, get this is National Public Radio, by the way. NPR is National Public Radio. It is government subsidized radio. This is if you listen to, it's the one they always make fun of, like on SNL, like the sweaty balls and all that kind of thing. Welcome to National Public Radio. Today, we'll be talking about goat cheese. I mean, like dumb stuff like that. But it's government subsidized. It's super liberal. And the worst part about NPR radio, okay, there's so many bad things about NPR. NPR is basically one of the worst government programs there is, because first of all, they get money from the government. They're subsidized by the government. On top of that, they do these telethons and these fundraisers, and they give away tote bags and all this stuff, and they beg you for money twice a year, and they get donations. So they get government subsidies, they get donations because apparently they're these 501(c)(3) organizations, and then on top of all that, get this, they sell advertising. So they're government subsidized, they can act as a nonprofit, and they can also sell advertising and compete with other radio and TV stations and blogs and anyone else who sell. They can compete with private entities while getting money from the government and from their donors. I mean, come on. This is one of the biggest scams ever. These are snake oil salesmen on NPR. They're stealing money, your tax dollars. They're stealing money from other corporations who are out there fighting for advertising dollars. And then they're just begging for crap on top of everything. They should, if the DOGE is looking, they should look no further than NPR. Anyway, I digress. The CEO, this Catherine Maher, she was giving a speech. Listen to what she says about the truth.
That for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth isn't necessarily the best place to start. In fact, I think our reverence for the truth might have become a bit of a distraction that is preventing us from finding consensus and getting important things done.
Our reverence for the truth has become a little bit of a distraction and keeps us from getting stuff done? That is a so-called journalist. That's one of the people that Morning Joe is applauding. That's one of the people that Morning Joe says what she does matters. What she does matters? She's out there saying the truth isn't important anymore, that the truth is a distraction. In fact, the truth gets in the way. This is a nationally subsidized organization that is supposed to be reporting on, you would think, factual. These are the fact checkers. Okay? NPR is a fact-checking organization. NPR has been used by Facebook and other people, I'm sure, to fact-check. They'll go out there and they'll tell you when the president has done or said something that is inaccurate. They'll go out there and tell you when a senator has done or said something inaccurate. They'll go out there and tell you when RFK Jr. or somebody else is denying something that has been factually accurate. Yet here they are saying that the truth doesn't matter.
That for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth isn't necessarily the best place to start. In fact, I think our reverence for the truth might have become a bit of a distraction that is preventing us from finding consensus and getting important things done.
They've abandoned the truth. NPR is giving up on finding the truth. Because it's too much of a distraction. A distraction from what? The lies? All this truth is distracting from our lies, says NPR CEO Catherine Maher. Let's not focus on the truth, because we got a bunch of lies we're pumping out there into the ether, and all this truth is just getting in the way. You can tell I'm not a big fan of NPR. Vivek Ramaswamy, co-chair of DOGE, says seeking truth isn't the real problem. It's wasteful federal spending. Taxpayers spend $535 million a year on the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, NPR's parent. Even worse, that isn't even authorized by Congress. Let's turn off the spigot and see what happens. No one will be harmed. $535 million a year is spent on public broadcasting, including NPR. $535 million worth of taxpayer dollars, and they're not even seeking the truth. And I got some truth. There's gonna be a come to Jesus meeting here before too long, and they're not gonna like what happens. Listen, this has been a very exciting day. We want to thank, of course, Congressman Aaron Bean, who's working closely with DOGE. In fact, I got to text him right now and be like, "Hey, NPR, you got to cut that out. We don't, this public broadcasting stuff." And when you look at public broadcasting, again, it boils down to government. Whenever you have a government funded or government subsidized broadcasting network, it basically comes down to government radio or government propaganda. I mean, that's all it's been for the past 4 years, and really longer than that. So there's no reason why. There's absolutely no reason why any government agency should have funded broadcasting when you have federally regulated radio and TV stations, cable networks, and all of these social media companies that are out there trying to get because the truth is what's going to win. If you're competing, okay, and this is the big problem, they don't like the competition. It used to be that there were 3 TV stations, ABC, NBC, CBS. Then all of a sudden cable rolled around and it's like, oh, now we got to compete with Fox and CNN as well. Now all of a sudden you've got MSNBC, Newsmax, you've got One America's, you've got all these other companies. There's a plethora of competition out there. And so what they started doing, ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, all these places, they started to just bury the truth, as you could see, and they started to push their narrative, and they tried to tell you how bad the status quo was and how bad Donald Trump was and how bad all these Republicans are and conservatives and yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, social media came along and said, wait a minute, we could actually just report the truth ourselves. President Trump did it on Twitter. President Trump got on Twitter in the first campaign. He started bypassing the media, which they hated because they wanted to filter the president's comments through their propaganda filter. No, Donald Trump took his message directly to the people. He went on Twitter in 2016 and he tweeted constantly, and people could read exactly what the president was thinking, exactly what the president was saying, and no media entity was twisting it or turning it or spinning it or distorting it. It was brilliant, and it got President Trump elected. And then what did they do? They said, oh, we got to get rid of him. So they kicked him off. They kicked him off of Twitter. They kicked him off of Facebook. They kicked him off of Instagram. They kicked him off of Pinterest because somehow Donald Trump's Pinterest page was threatening national security. Now he's back with Truth Social. Now he's back on X. Now he's back pretty much everywhere. And they realized that Donald Trump invited everyday Americans into social media to report on the actual truth. And when you have all of these major news networks and Axioses and NPRs and everyone else reporting a bunch of lies and propaganda, well, that's just competition that they don't need or want. There you go. All right, listen, we got to wrap it up. But I did want to tell you 2 very, very important things. First of all, these have been selling like hotcakes. I know the closer we get to Christmas, the more we sell. And we still have plenty left in the warehouse, but after look, it's going to be Black Friday, it's going to be the weekend. Before you do your Cyber Monday shopping, before you get inundated, make sure that you head over and get your copy of the Untold Story of Christmas.com. This is a book that became, I don't want to say an instant classic for a lot of people, but after we read it on the air for several years in a row, and we took the suggestion by someone to turn it into this book, which we did, The Untold Story of Christmas, it took off. We're doing more readings later on this month and next month, and it's going to be It's going to be something that you're going to be so proud to own, so proud to share. The story's wonderful. If you believe in Jesus Christ and if you love the story of his birth and if you love celebrating Christmas, then you're going to want to get a copy of this for yourself and your family. And of course, we did try to make it ornate, so it's not one of those things you need to hide on the bookshelf. You can lay it out. And people are going to go, wow, this is a beautiful book. It looks like it's ancient, doesn't it? It looks like it comes from the library at Alexandria, but it's not. It's brand new, and you can get your copy at the Untold Story of Christmas.com. You can actually get multiple copies there at the Untold Story of Christmas.com, because we know at Christmas time it's all about giving. So you can get a copy for yourself and you can give some for others. Also, over the weekend, we had a run. We had a run on tickets to the Ho Ho Hold'em charity poker tournament, which makes sense because now it's less than 2 weeks away. Less than 2 weeks away. All of our spectator tickets sold out. They're gone. Finito. We do have a bunch of tickets, single tickets that we've sold already. They're unlimited because we can keep adding people and add more tables, but I think we're up to I'm going to say 30 or 40 of those. So if you want to get a single ticket, it includes dinner. It includes drinks. It includes entry into the tournament. The grand prize is $1,000 cash. There's also a $500 second place prize and a $250 cash prize for third place. There are prizes galore throughout the night. We give away free beer and wine and liquor and eggnog and hats and coats, and the best bet brings us a bunch of their amazing swag. Plus, it's just a fantastic time for everybody. And then if you want to get a whole table, which we had 5 on Friday, we're down to 3. I actually got a text from somebody over the weekend saying, hey, can I buy a table? Is it too late? I said, it's getting there, but there's still some remaining. If you want to get a whole table, if you get 8 friends together, then you get 2 free tickets. You only pay for 6 tickets, but you get a full table, which seats 8 people. And again, everybody gets dinner. Everybody gets drinks. Everybody gets entry into the tournament. Everyone has a chance to get that $1,000 cash prize. But again, there's the 2,000. Yeah, there's only 3 of those remaining. And then finally, the VIK experience. This is, look, if you're coming and let's say you had a good year, let's say you're doing fine, you really want to make a charitable donation to Kaye's Kids, because again, all of this money goes to Kaye's Kids, and we're kicking that off next week. We just went out, we filmed all of our Kaye's Kids this past weekend. It was amazing. These kids are incredible, and they've been through such rough times, and the money that we raise gets these gifts, puts a smile on their face. We're going to share it all with you. Starting December 5th, we're going to bring you the 12 Days of Christmas right here on Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. But if you want to make a donation, don't just make a donation. Get yourself a VIK ticket. Very important, Katriot. Because what that means is you get to come to the tournament, you get the free food, you get the free drinks, but you also get a swag bag for VIKs only, which is jam-packed, like stuffed to the rim with amazing Mark Kaye Saves the Republic gear and paraphernalia and special goodies and whatnot. And you get to sit at the live stream table with me, and we just found out, also at the VIK table this year, returning since she dissed us last year, Hannah Guile Hickox. So we will both be at the table. We have 3 tickets left for the VIK experience. And again, this table is the centerpiece table. This is under the lights. It's on the live stream. This is the place to be. I'll be there all night. Hannah will be joining me. We've got 3 seats left. If you can swing it, this is the ticket you want. We make a big deal about you. We introduce you. If you want to get a shout out for your business, no problem, because we're going to be live streaming on the internet the entire time. And the better you play, the longer you stay. So we had a couple of people from the VIK table who were there all night long. They never moved their seat until the very end. So it's really, really exciting. There's a trophy. It's one of the best things we do. And if you want to get your tickets, like I said, very few tickets remain. We only have 3 VIK. We only have 3 full tables. We have no spectator seats. Don't miss out. It's a week from Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is this Thursday. Go to www.kayskids.com. www.kayskids.com and get your tickets. Make sure you join us for the Ho Ho Hold'em charity poker tournament. It's going to be amazeballs this year. I'm so excited. Listen, thanks so much for everyone who joined us. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and share and set the notifications, because we're going to be bringing you all kinds of great content every single day. We're going to be bringing you live streams, noon Eastern, 11 Central, every single day. We're going to be pumping out videos and shorts and all kinds of other stuff every single day, because every single day it's a battle. Every single day it's a fight. Every single day we've got to do whatever we can to make sure that now that we've won the election, we can still save the republic. www.kayskids.com. I will see you at the tournament a week from Thursday. Go get your tickets. Go, go, go.